Boxing just gives you so much confidence.
Kids stepping into the ring to stay out of trouble.
There are no barriers. We're trying to help our kids become all that they can be. If we can save kids one at a time, it's worth it.
He told me that I'm gonna be something different than a lot of kids was.
Plus a local Olympian and professional boxer training in the same gym he grew up in.
Boxing saved my life. This gym saved my life.
How he's trying to be an inspiration for the next generation.
From WLWT, this is Let's Talk Cincy, presented by Western and Southern Financial Group. Put our financial strength behind you.
The pandemic has thrown a 1-2 punch that has impacted everyone's life. But one organization has found a way to fight through this pandemic and remain a positive force in the lives of young people. Hello, everyone. I'm Curtis Fuller, and welcome to Let's Talk Cincy. Today, we revisit the Cincinnati Golden Gloves Boxing Club in Over the Rhine. Buddy LaRosa is the founder of this organization, and over the years, it has become a safe haven for inner city youth, giving them an opportunity to develop life skills as well as boxing skills. COVID-19 has challenged all of us, but following strict safety protocols, the folks at the boxing club have been able to keep the doors open at the gym as much as possible to continue changing lives. It not only helps kids develop athletic skills, but it also gives them discipline, self-esteem, and hope for better lives.
It's history. As soon as you walk in, you got, from the old to the new boxers. Buddy had, been in boxing over 60 years.
Started out in about the 50s with one little gym over in the Finley Street neighborhood house. And the YMCA had a program over there for a while, and then we'd outgrow it, and we moved into another quarters.
My dad's a promoter, so everything you see here, he had his hands on and he designed. He's always been a boxing fan. He's had posters and Muhammad Ali collection and everything.
This ring that we're in was Ezra Charles's ring. And this ring was in the old Cincinnati Gardens, and he fought all of his major fights that he fought in Cincinnati in this ring. We were fortunate enough to acquire it when they tore down the Cincinnati Gardens building.
There's so much history in this building, in this neighborhood, in Cincinnati, and it's all kind of reflected in this gym. They face a lot of pressures and temptation just in the 4-block radius around the gym. There's a lot of shootings down here. There's a lot of open air, drug activity, and this place is a way to keep the kids away from that and give them goals and a sense of purpose that maybe they wouldn't get otherwise.
We may lose a few, and then sometimes, you find out, you may come to the gym one day, somebody got shot or somebody got robbed. And we get that a lot too, because a lot of times kids, when they go away from the gym, strange things happen.
Family is very important, and ultimately our company likes to support the development of youth. That's sort of the sweet spot of everything we do, is if we're helping educate children or teach them through athletics or some experience that can help them be disciplined and help them set goals for themselves. That's all good stuff. So we care about that, and our inner city boxing program is at the heart of that.
The formidable years of the teenage years when they're susceptible to get into trouble. A lot of times they don't have mom and dad at home. I didn't have a dad at home. He was gone. Some of the kids today, though, they come from families where the grandma's raising them, or maybe mother's raising them. Maybe she's a one parent working, and maybe the kid's staying with an aunt or somebody. So we don't have that two-family household like it was when I was a kid, although I didn't have a two-family household. And boxing saved me, and I figure that's what I want to do for these kids.
I'm a person of faith, and we're supposed to love one another. We're supposed to serve one another. And my father's been a shining example of that. And I'm just proud to be able to continue in his legacy And we're loving and serving the kids down here that need it the most.
This is like a melting pot for them. If they stay in the gym, you know, be successful. But once they leave out them doors, it's just so hard. And it's hard to come back, you know. I'll see them and say, Coach, I'll be back. I say, yeah, you know, all you gotta do is say, okay, I'm here for you. You gotta keep the doors open. I tell every coach, every new young coach, if they gonna get their gym started, always keep your doors open, because, you know, they may not see it right then, you know, maybe the second time around they may get it. So I tell them that's my main thing, keep the doors open, you know, because, you know, we're doing some great things.
There is a strong message at the boxing club that it takes more than gloves to make a good boxer. Up next, Building Champions, the lessons of hard work and sacrifice inside and outside the ring, when Let's Talk Cincy continues. The great Joe Louis once said, a champion doesn't become a champion inside the ring. That person is merely recognized in the ring. The becoming happens during the daily training. It's that type of character building lesson being taught at the Golden Gloves Boxing Club.
We're a USA Boxing registered youth amateur team, but we also, once the kids are here, we have a building next door where they can do homework, get tutored. We have food donated from the Children's Hunger Alliance, so every evening, even if the kids aren't boxing, they can come and get a hot meal for free next door.
It's so good. Sometimes the kid, you know, he may not go home and eat right away, you know, and the food might be, because it's a one parent. Some of them got one parent, and, you know, the parent may be working. So we provide them with food.
Our other passion for our participants is to teach them life skill development, so that if they aren't a boxer for their whole life, that they can be successful in life, because we help them down that path.
We do a speaker series where we have people from the community come to talk about job opportunities, also anti-drug and anti-alcohol speakers. We also do workforce development. We'll help anybody in this gym get a job, or their parents. We want to help the kids in any way that we can.
As a kid, like, it's a big stage of bullying going on, so boxing just gives you so much confidence. It's like nobody can mess with you no more. It's just like, if somebody messes with you, you know you can do something to them, but at the same time, when you box, your hands become a weapon, so you don't touch nobody, none of that.
You learn to be a leader and self-sustaining. You know, I'm gonna do it myself. Ain't nobody gonna come in here and fight, and nobody gonna take the punches. You're gonna take the punches, but you don't want to get hit. You want to hit and slip, and hit again and slip, and keep moving.
There is definitely a moment when a kid goes from playing around to this is what he wants to do. I always know that when it happens, because the coaches will start saying, that kid's the truth, or he's the one.
My first fight was scary. Going into the ring was scary. My heart was beating fast. I had butterflies in my stomach. It was only a minute, so you actually had to go out there and just bang it out and just try your hardest.
There are no barriers. We're trying to help our kids become all that they can be, and some of them are at a real disadvantage. It's going to be really hard for some of them, but if we can make a little bit of a difference, and that's because we provide a family here for them, it's worth it.
I had a father that's just you know, he was just a provider. He wasn't like, take me to games, take me to practice every day, and made sure I was in practice. And I see a lot of them don't have it. But if it's fortunate enough that both of them, if you get both of them together, that's good. But still, even with the ones, I still try to, you know, act like I'm their dad, you know, because their dad depending on me to take care of their kid.
Go. Obviously, there's something good here, because they're beating the door down to come in. So we don't get a lot of publicity for it or press, because this is work that there aren't many people out there doing. But if we can help save 5 kids out of our program from, you know, being in trouble or having something bad happen to them, How many kids are getting shot up out on the streets? I mean, if we can save kids one at a time, it's worth it.
Sometimes you may not be like a Rasheed Warren or Adrian Brown or Ravi Springs or something like that, but you may be in another different way, you know. So, you know, you may become a great coach, you know. You may become a great, you know, a leader, you know. So, whatever you do, we try to bring that out of them. I think that's part of this program, because everybody's going to be different.
Up next, one Olympian who says the Inner City Boxing Club saved his life.
I always make sure I stay on the right path because I didn't want to get caught up out there. Half of my friends are dead or in jail. I'm one of the ones that happen to just make it this far.
Now he's trying to inspire the next generation of young boxers. Rasheed Warren is the only three-time Olympian in U.S. boxing history. He won his first amateur fight when he was only 8 years old. He shares his story of the joys and pain of boxing and life.
I started when I was 5 years old, had my first fight when I was 8. When I was 5, I just wanted to get in the ring and just fight all the kids that I felt like was my size or that was my age. But my coach, Mike Stanford, he took his time with me. You know, he started making me learn the basics with the jab and using my step, how to throw my punches right. Because I just wanted to just go in there and just fight like I was on the streets or something. That was something I had to challenge myself because I was always overwhelmed, like ready to get in the ring, just ready to just let my punches go. So when I was 5 years old up to when I was 8, because you compete when you're 8 years old, I learned all the bases, and then once it was time for me to fight, I probably went like 45-0. I was 8 years old. It was this guy from Columbus. My gloves came from my wrist all the way down to my elbows because they were so big, and my mom was complaining about the guy who I was fighting. He had a little height over me. She was like, no, he don't need to be fighting him, it's too much. My coach and my brother was telling her, just, you know, calm down, just watch him, like, just watch. When the bell rings, you're gonna see what's going on, because I was ready, you know. So as soon as the bell rang, I just came out there and just started throwing punches and bunches, just landing punches, because we ain't really had that long in the ring, just a minute every 3 rounds. So I went in there and made sure I did what I had to do, and I had won my first fight. And ever since then, my mom was like, okay, I'm with it. When I walked in the gym, like I said, I was very excited to, you know, fight a lot of kids and get in there and fight. And he kept me calm, made sure I relaxed, and he told me that I'm gonna be something different than a lot of kids was, because not only that I paid attention, but I was always up under him. Like, I just was, everywhere he moved, I was moving. Like, anything he thought of doing, I made sure I was right there to see what he was doing. And I always wanted him to be a part of my life, no matter what it is. For me graduating, for me going to the Olympics, me turning professional, me winning the titles. Even when I wanted to play other sports, he was probably mad about it, but he was definitely there to support me when I was playing basketball. And when he walked in that basketball gym, when I was playing point guard, that's all it was like I seen my father. I started going crazy, scoring points, make sure I was doing what I had to do, you know, just let him know that I could play this sport too. Like I say, I look at him as a father. You know, this was a home away from home, you know, because I came up in a rough neighborhood, and it's a lot of distractions in the neighborhood like that. You know, you tend to fall into them distractions if you're not focused. And my mom and my brother made sure that I stayed on the right path, and I like the winning. So when I felt like I lost or something, I go right to the gym where I'm comfortable at, and I let all my anger out. I let, you know, my frustration out, or even I've had a girlfriend at the time, she probably broke my heart. My mom told me just come to the gym, take my problems out on the gym, and this became home for me. So this home away from home. I feel like my teenager years it was real tough for me because I had to, you know, go to school, and I had to be on the Olympic team at the time in 2004. So it was a lot on my head because my brothers, they was getting incarcerated they end up going to do 10 years at the time. Like, they out now, and one of them, which is Stephen Warren, he's my personal trainer, but at that time when he was going to get incarcerated to do the 10 years, my coach said something to me that clicked with me, told me that, like, you can make this Olympic team. When you make this Olympic team, you're gonna be the youngest that ever made it. It's time to take advantage. It's time to become a man. And I didn't even know at that time. At 16, becoming a man, I still wanted to go, you know, do kid stuff, have fun. But like I said, I made the Olympic team, and it was like, oh wow, like I did it. Like, let's go. Like, and it stuck with me for the whole time. I never even realized what I was doing when I made the team. You know, like when they announced that I won a fight and I was on the Olympic team, you know, I just thought it was a regular fight at the time. So when we got over there, and then when the Olympic ceremony, that's what really just brought everything. It was just totally different just by seeing Allen Iverson, I met LeBron James. We all got the same outfit on, walking into the ceremony and for the United States. So I'm like, you know what? I ain't gonna get no autograph, but I'm gonna get a lot of pictures because I wanna feel just supporting as them. It was real stressful, and I was young at the time. I was only 16, making an Olympic team, and I felt like when I was in the Olympics, they kind of took the fun out of the boxing, because it was like, they had to make it seem like we had to just die for our country, because it was USA versus everybody. It got me far, you know. I never look back and be like, Dad, I should have did something different, because I love my life now. But it was definitely something I had to get over when I was a teenager. You know, I never really gave up on what I was doing. I always stayed focused. I always made sure I stayed on the right path, like, because I didn't want to get caught up out there. Half of my friends are dead or in jail doing time. I'm one of the ones that happen to just make it this far. I come here when I just want to, you know, see the kids work, and, you know, it put a smile on my face, because I see them becoming who I was at the time, because I know where they come from, what they doing, and what they trying to get to. Yeah, they might not see it now, just like I didn't see it at the time when my coach or my brother was telling me I'm gonna be somebody. But like I said, boxing saved my life. This gym saved my life.
Well, they've produced other champions from the Golden Gloves program. They had 3 silver medal winners at the USA National Olympics boxing tournament, and 1 boxer qualified for the U.S. Olympics boxing trials. Well, up next, the impact these young boxers are having on the coaches when Let's Talk Cincy continues. There's one boxing quote that says, "You only lose when you give up." The Golden Gloves boxing program teaches young people their dreams don't have to be in short supply. The more hard work you put into something makes the road to victory just a little easier.
I think that places like this are steps in the right direction. I mean, I think a lot of the problems that the kids run into come from feeling disconnected and like they don't have any support system from society at large. And so here's their proof that they have a support system and there are people that care about them. I think places like this are part of the solution.
There's a lot of companies that when they see programs that nobody's getting big salaries out of this. If you looked at our books, we're not top heavy. The city's been good to us, helping us with various properties from recreation, where our budget, we never could afford it. My company donates. We have a van that was donated to us, and people give it these. They don't want even recognition, anonymous, because they're doing it from their heart.
I go to the stores and the supermarkets and stuff like that. They always, the parents, I see the parents, they always say, you know, keep up, when they say that, keep up the good work, I know they watching. I know they hearing about it. And that builds me up.
There's actually one little boy who, I told him I was a lawyer, and he said, what's a lawyer? And I said, someone that helps people get out of problems. And now he tells everyone in this neighborhood that he's a lawyer.
Hello, I'm gonna be a lawyer.
He's like 6 years old. He made a little name tag for himself that says T.O. Lawyer. All the guys out on the corner are like, oh, there's our lawyer. That was a moment where I was like, wow, this little boy is directly impacted by hearing about my career.
Just having kids coming in, slapping that bag and using up energy rather than getting in trouble out in the street, those are my proudest moments. And then seeing these kids go on in life and become property owners, store managers, good legitimate jobs that are going to make a living for them.
I would love for us to have helped dozens of people get an education they're interested in. Maybe it's a trade school, maybe it's some sort of workforce environment that gives them an opportunity for a real career where they can make money and provide for their family. I want to create success stories. We already have a handful of them now, but I'd love to see that jettisoned to where we have dozens and dozens of young men and women that they're not professional boxers, but they are successful in life, and the seed was planted here. That would make me very proud.
Everything I do and that I want to do or I meant to do over the years, it's not for me, it's for Cincinnati and for these kids. I'm not the type of guy who want to get patted on the back and all that stuff because, you know, I'm working for the man upstairs.
I would say this is Cincinnati boxing at its finest, for sure. But I would also say that this is the downtown community at its finest as well. When my grandpa started it, his goal, it's the same goal we have today, which is this is a family. It's special.
When we think of the lessons being taught down at the Golden Gloves Boxing Club, it is easy to reflect on the words of the great Muhammad Ali. He said, champions are made from something they have deep down inside of them, a desire, a dream, a vision. They must have the skill along with the will, but in the end, the will must be stronger than that skill. He also said, only a man who knows what it's like to be defeated can reach down to the bottom of his soul and come up with the extra ounce of power it takes to win. Well, that does it for this edition of Let's Talk Cincy. We want to hear from you. Email us your ideas at ltc@wlwt.com. And remember, you can always watch full episodes or get more information on our website. You can also listen to Let's Talk Cincy on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcasts. Well, thanks again for joining me. I'm Curtis Fuller. We'll see you next week for another Let's Talk Cincy.